we can't be together because you dress slutty. You seem to need to be seen constantly and get attention from strangers.
There's a harsh truth that she will never tell you to your face. A woman's past is not just a collection of stories, brothers. Go ahead and smash that like button, because what I'm about to enlighten you with is going to upset 97% of you. Her past is a series of psychological imprints, what Carl Jung referred to as complexes. The complexities of Eve is what I'm going to talk about today. Complexes that shape her present behavior and your possible future with her. 97% of men have been trained to ignore these warnings, these signs. They don't know what to look for. They've been trained to label them as modern values. Confidence. They say the woman has confidence, or she has a complicated personality to justify these issues. But what if these signs aren't random? What if they are clear psychological markers? But brother, I'm telling you that they are. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but I've been with a deluge of women and I've studied women. And I can tell you what to look for. So I need you to listen up. And if you've experienced any of these with a woman during out the course of your life, I need you to type frame below this video. So what if these are markers pointing deeply that are actually ingrained into her behavior patterns, rooted in the shadows, the past of the psyche that she may not even be conscious of? She's not consciously aware of it. Perhaps she is, perhaps she isn't. So today, I'm going to break down 7 signs that indicates a woman's intimate history has sharpened her in ways that could make a long-term relationship with her very unlikely, if not impossible, if you want a healthy relationship. So be certain to watch this until the end and donate whatever you think this video is worth. $20, $30, $100, $200, whatever you think is worth. Remember to smash that like button. Watch it until the end, because the 7th sign isn't just theory. It's something you could actually verify in real life, in your relationship. And it could save you years of heartaches, confusion, and maybe even a divorce if you're planning to marry this woman. This isn't about judgment. It's about diagnosis, a personality. So you don't end up becoming a patient in someone's unsolved psychological drama, in Eve's unsolved psychological drama. Let's talk about the psychological frame. We live in a culture that literally celebrates freedom and it discourages discernment. But psychology is not ideology. It's a precise science. And again, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I'm a man of many splendid facets. The Creator's actually given me this gift to be able to discern and understand women. Every significant emotional experience, especially intimate ones, they leave a mark. Carl Jung taught that every person wears a persona. The persona is your woman wearing. She's really not your woman, by the way. The social mask that's presented to the world, the way that I worded that in the past is that it's like a stage play and everyone wears a costume. But when the curtains close and you go backstage, after you've been together long enough, the mask and costume comes off and you get to still see the real person. Exactly what Carl Jung was describing, right? So they wear a social mask that's presented to the world. Charming, confident, open. But behind the facade, behind the mask lives the shadow, the repressed, the unconscious self, where unresolved trauma and disappointment and learned survival behaviors accumulate. And he said, Tazadoctrine, not my woman. You need to listen up, or you could very well be a victim. Again, this is not attacking women. I happen to be a spokesman for men because there's not enough voices out there for men. So I'm teaching you what I know to be factual. The more superficial and repeated, intimate connections that a woman has had, the more the shadows adapt. Not to love, but to defend, to manipulate, and to survive. 97% of the men in the world have no clue what I'm talking about here. So I really need you to listen up. Give me your undivided attention. The first sign, the illusion of intimacy, comfort, should really be a warning. See, the first sign is the most deceptive that she shows, that she displays. And 9 out of 10 men do not know what to look for. They think it's a green light. She appears unusually open, confident about intimacy. She's so open with you initially. She discusses the physical aspects of having sex, of the relationship. She discusses it with ease initially, almost casually. At first, this feels very refreshing to the average guy. The average guy doesn't know what to look for. So you tell yourself, wow, she's really mature. You're deceived, brother. Modern security is what you call it. But Carl Jung warned us that never elevate a person based on persona alone. Look at what lies behind that persona. What is hidden? And what's really hidden here is a disturbing paradox. This ease is not confidence, brothers. It's often the absence of natural emotion, natural emotional barriers. She should have a natural emotional barrier there, but she doesn't. In a healthy psyche, intimacy is usually protected. There is a gradual warmth, a measured unfolding. It should never occur just at once. There's a slight awkwardness that signals vulnerability in a healthy person. Now, these are not outdated ideas. I want to make that abundantly clear. They are psychological safeguards for you men. Markers and something meaningful is forming. That's what it should be. But when those safeguards are missing, when you encounter an Eve and those safeguards are missing, it suggests erosion. She speaks about intimacy with the detachment of a technician. She's talking about intimacy, but she's detached. When you look into her eyes, you don't see anything there, brother. She's just speaking because she's been intimate with so many different men. She's speaking as a technician, not with the presence of a participant, a woman that's truly engaged intimately with you. Not because she's evolved, but because repetition has stripped her of the act of the emotional feelings. In other words, her body count is so high, she doesn't feel anything anymore. And you'll notice it beyond words. So when you see a woman that said if the man could do it, I could do it too, it's just not normal. It's not normal. She's stripped. You'll notice it beyond her words. Her timing is perfect. Her reactions are polished. She understands male psychology too well, and she's placating on your emotions. There is no organic tension as there should be. There is no uncertainty. There's no sense that this moment carries personal risk for her because she's utterly detached. It's just an act for her, but you are deeply emotionally involved and she could walk away from you at any time, and most guys get crushed. Everything feels rehearsed. You're there with her. When you're holding her hand, it feels like you're walking with a ghost because she's not really there spiritually and mentally. And that's a warning, brother. And this is only the first sign. The next one goes deeper, brothers, so listen up. It goes into behavior patterns you cannot fake and you cannot hide for very long. So let's talk about the emotional validity disguised as passion. So the second sign is instability, mislabeled as debt. Her emotions swing quickly. Affection turns into withdrawal. She could be a borderline personality disorder. She loves you and she pulls away. Then it's, I hate you, please don't leave me. So her emotions swing. Her affections turns into withdrawal. Warmth turns into distance. She pulls away. You don't understand why. You don't know what happens. And it's mess you up mentally. If you're not careful, you'll become a codependent. She calls it passion. She calls it intensity. She may even call it being real. I'm just being real. But psychologically, this pattern points to a fractured attachment or attachments. Fractured attachment. Her nervous system has actually learned to associate emotional spikes with connection. Calm feels unfamiliar to her. Consistency feels boring to her.
You speak about intimacy with the detachment of a technician, not the presence of a participant. You are present but not here mentally.
Or unsafe. You ever wonder why so many Eves left marriages? Because they say, well, I feel bored. That's just why. This validation is not chemistry, brothers. It's conditioning.
We can't be together because you dress slutty. You seem to need to be seen constantly and get attention from strangers.
It's from dealing with the high body count. And men who confuse chaos for connections always end up victims. So inevitably, these men become emotional caretakers, codependents, not a partner. Which moves me to step 3, validation seeking that never turns off. Now, what do I mean that she's seeking validation? She needs to be seen. She dresses overly provocative. You tell her, yo, you're not going out with me like that. And she said, oh, you're too jealous and so on and so forth. But she's dressing extremely provocative. Why? Because she needs to seek validation from other men. She's constantly seeking attention from strangers, social reinforcement, external confirmation that she still matters. Not occasionally, this is habitually.
We can't be together because you dress slutty. You seem to need to be seen constantly and get attention from strangers.
Right? And this is not confidence. It's an identity leakage. So if you're dealing with an Eve like this, pay attention. Pay attention.
I know I haven't told you much about me. Let's take it slow.
Her sense of self is outsourced, built through reactions, not reflection. It's built from the reactions of how other men look at her. She's constantly seeking validation. Carl Jung would say, The persona has actually grown too large. And the shadow feeds on applause. A woman at peace does not hunt for affirmations. She generates presence. Which woman do you have? If your woman has actually been guilty of this, type frame below. And go ahead and book a coaching session by visiting the website www.tazadoctrine.com or ordering my book. One of the books on relationship is a 7-book series, Tazadoctrine's Didactic Empowerment Relationship Blueprint. Get the entire series, or at least order that book. Which moves us to stage 4, intimacy without accountability. She shares personal details quickly, too quickly. You ever meet a woman and she just tells you her whole history? Run. She talks about trauma, past relationships, pain. At first, this feels like trust. You don't know any better. 97% of the men don't know any better. It feels like trust. But you notice, if you pay attention, what's missing is integration. She talks about her past, but she takes no responsibility for her past. It was always the man's fault, always. Every story has a villain. Every outcome is explained away. This is confession without transformation, brothers. It's confession without transformation. True intimacy is disclosure. It is ownership. It's taking responsibility. Without this, closeness becomes emotional dumping, because that's what she's doing to you. She's emotional dumping. And you become the container for unresolved history and her trauma. You're just a garbage bag for her emotional dumping, which moves me to stage 5. Difficulty forming or respecting boundaries. Me as a man, I set boundaries. As you saw at the beginning, the inception of this video at the beginning, at the dead of relationship, because I had boundaries. And if a woman crossed my boundaries, there's nothing to debate. There's nothing to debate. I reinforce what I do with my behavior, not with my mouth, but with my behavior. I'm either going to walk away from that, take my attention away, or just end it utterly. So she has difficulties forming respect for boundaries. She tests the limits very early. Time. She may show up very late, 30 minutes late. You're supposed to meet her on a date. Her availability. You may tell her I'm busy, but she'll still press to try and make you available. Emotional access. If you say no, she pushes and she pushes. Oh, come on, sweetheart. The average man breaks. Or she withdraws. She may try and deprive you of sex. And since you believe that you're only supposed to deal with her, even if she's treating you disrespectfully, she pulls away intimacy to get compliance from you. And not because she's malicious, but because her internal boundaries were crossed long ago. Do you understand? When boundaries are violated repeatedly, brothers, the psyche adapts to a normalizing illusion, or should I say intrusion. And what isn't respected internally here cannot be respected externally with you. Do you follow me? This dynamic always ends the same way, brothers, again and again. Resentment on both sides. It's never positive, which moves me to stage 6. The pattern of short, intense relationships. The relationships don't last that long. Things you thought was going great, all of a sudden she stopped calling, she faded. Think I'm gonna have to end this. Now pay attention to the duration of her previous relationships. Not what she says, not how it ended, just the pattern. Doesn't really matter how she tells you it ended because she may not be telling the truth, but just look at the pattern of how long those relationships last, the duration of those relationships, not what she says. The pattern, fast starts, high emotions, sudden collapse. Again and again, and again and again. That's not bad luck, brother. It's a rehearsed cycle. The shadow knows how to ignite, but it does not know how to sustain. She knows how to get into relationships, but she does not know how to sustain them. Long-term bonds requires patience, repair, and tolerance for imperfection. Relationships burn hot and die young with her. When those muscles are underdeveloped, they burn hot and they die young. And here's the seventh sign. This is the one that you can verify, brothers. This is the final sign, and it requires no psychological degree. Watch what happens when you withhold emotional reinforcement. Withhold emotional reinforcement and watch what happens. This is not manipulation. This is not cruelty. It's just steadiness. It's calmness. You don't overpursue. You don't explain. You don't chase for her reassurance. You stay on your center and you focus on your purpose. See, this is how you fix all of this, and this is how you extirpate unhealthy people from your life. If her interests collapse under consistency, it tells you everything, brother. Because healthy attachment stabilizes under calmness. Unhealthy attachment starves without stimulation. This is not theory. This is observation. And in my conclusion, none of these is about condemning women. Nothing that I said is about condemning women. That's not what I'm about. I'm about self-mastery. This is not your typical relationship coach. This is Tazadoctrine. This is not about excusing men. It's about recognizing patterns before you invest your future into destruction. Cole Young warned that what we refuse to confront in ourselves, we will meet as fate. What we refuse to confront in ourselves, we will meet as fate. Discernment's not judgment, brothers. It's self-preservation. Choose clarity. Choose calmness. Choose self-mastery. Choose clarity before chemistry clouds it. You may be attracted to her, but she the right choice. If you're feeling this video right here, if you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button. And until next time, I'm going to say shalom, peace, two fingers. I'm going to leave that in the air. Be safe.